and he's walking back also the charge that Bush lied. Now, remember when that happened in the Saturday night debate, a lot of people were shocked watching this. I immediately evolved a theory to explain it. Here you have the Republican frontrunner, and let's review. The Republican frontrunner defended Planned Parenthood. Great organization, do great things for women's health. It's almost a cliche. It's what left-wing Planned Parenthood defenders say. They're an abortion mill. They are an abortion factory. The lion's share of their so-called funding, their income, comes from performing abortions. They don't do mammograms, for example. The idea that Planned Parenthood's involved in women's health is largely a PR smokescreen to cover up the fact that they're an abortion factory. Well, Mr. Trump came out and said that Planned Parenthood did great things and didn't want to defund them because they did great things for women's health. Republican frontrunner. I sat up when I heard it. I said, whoa. Not even Romney said that. McCain hadn't even said that. I said, what's this? And then as the debate went on, Mr. Trump accused Bush of lying about Iraq. They knew there weren't any WMD in there, and they still went to war anyway. They knew, Trump said. They knew. And then Trump said that he opposed the war in Iraq, and that Bush was lying about that and lying about 9/11, that Bush didn't keep us safe, that the Twin Towers fell when Bush was in the White House, and he did that while assaulting Jeb, going after Jeb. But nevertheless, I said, what is this? This is first time I've heard any of this. And then it hit me. Well, it's an open primary. And in South Carolina, Democrats and independents can cross over and vote. And I theorized that what Trump was trying to do here is get some of those, because we'd had reports that Cruz was gaining ground. Internal polling day of the Bush campaign, Cruz only 2 points behind. Figured that if that internal polling existed, the Bush campaign, the Trump people knew it too. So it was one of two things. Either Donald wanted to go get these other additional voters for one of two reasons, either to stave off whatever was happening with Cruz or to just amass more and more votes to just hammer that final nail in the coffin and just be done with this and just win with a slam dunk. And then commentators on TV took me to task. No, Rush, Trump's not that diabolical. He speaks from the heart. And I said, nothing diabolical about it. This is political strategy. All I'm saying is that Trump is not surrounded by idiots. He's got some political pros in his organization, and it could well be they've strategized to do this, because it's not often that you hear the Republican frontrunner anywhere defend Planned Parenthood and destroy a revered former Republican president, revered in South Carolina with 83%. You just don't hear that. So there had to be a reason for it. And then Trump yesterday, or maybe 2 nights ago now, when he's on MSNBC during that town hall, admitted that he was going to get crossover votes. He was going to get Democrats in it. I said, aha, see, my theory was right on the money. Exactly, that's what they were doing. That's why Trump said that. Then there were a couple of additional things, such as Trump saying that he is going to rewrite the electoral map, because so many people, so many crossovers in other states are going to end up supporting him that Wisconsin's going to be in play, Pennsylvania's going to be in play, Michigan's going to be in play. And then last night, Donald Trump, let me just read to you from the Wall Street Journal. Donald Trump on Thursday appeared to try to walk back his claims that the administration of former President George W. Bush lied about the presence of weapons of mass destruction in Iraq to justify the war. During a town hall-style event hosted by CNN, when the Republican frontrunner was asked about the comments he made during last weekend's GOP debate, Mr. Trump said, I'm not talking about lying. I'm not talking about not lying. Nobody really knows why we went into Iraq. Bottom line, there weren't any weapons of mass destruction. So whether he lied or not, Trump said of Bush. He went into Iraq. It was a horrible decision. We shouldn't have done it. And so the Wall Street Journal and others in the drive-by media are now trying to say that Trump is walking it back. Now, if Trump's walking it back, there goes my theory. Why walk it back if you're trying to attract Democrat crossover votes tomorrow in the South Carolina primary? Or maybe you think you've already done it and you've succeeded. You got your message out. You can make a show at Play It Walking It Back here to maintain your Republican vote. I still could be right about this, is the bottom line. Now, they think they've caught Trump in another, I don't know what you call it, flip-flop, because apparently Mr. Trump is saying, and you probably heard it, that he opposed the war in Iraq always, forever. And people in the media said, that's great, but we can't find any quotes. We can't find any evidence you saying that. And Trump said, well, that's okay. You shouldn't. I wasn't in politics back then. I'm in business. I'm a businessman back then. I wasn't being quoted for things I said as a businessman. Of course you wouldn't, but I just want to tell you, I opposed the Iraq war. But somebody found a tape of Trump on Howard Stern back in 2002. Stern said to Trump, are you in favor of invading Iraq? And Trump said, yeah, I guess so. I wish the first time it was done correctly. Which is an excellent point, by the way. If you remember what happened in Gulf War I, we won that war in like 2.5 days. That was the Arnold Schwarzenegger, the Schwarzkopf victory. You remember what happened with that? We had the Iraqi army on the run. They were in full retreat. The Republican Guard, the elite troops, they were on the way back to Baghdad. And Schwarzenegger wanted to wipe them out, just wanted to end it, go all the way back to Baghdad, get Saddam, and be done with Iraq. And Colin Powell said, no, Mr. President, Mr. Bush, don't do it. You will look like you are using excessive force, unnecessary force. The war is over. The war is won. And besides, said General Powell, was he General Powell then or Secretary Powell? Secretary Powell. Nope, he was General Powell then. General Powell said, look, the UN mandate authorizing the use of force does not include getting Saddam. It just says get Iraq out of Kuwait and recapture the oil wells for Kuwait that Saddam took and eventually set on fire. And that happened to be true. The United Nations resolution that George H.W. Bush put together did not include regime change in Iraq, did not include taking Saddam out. But Schwarzkopf said, a la Patton, what the hell are we stopping for? Let's just keep going. Root the guy out and be done with this forever. And Colin Powell said, nope. Said the optics won't look good. And there weren't. The optics were the Iraqi army was on the run. They were surrendering every day on TV, waving white flags. They were shoeless. They were shirtless. And they were on the road back to Baghdad. And Colin Powell said, you can't continue this. You got to just end it and let them get back home. And that's what we did. And Saddam survived to once again start threatening and bellowing about weapons of mass destruction. It gave us reason to go back in. Ancient history, but nevertheless, Trump is right when he says, I wish the first time it was done correctly. What he means by that is if we just kept going, taking Saddam out. But the point is, in 2002, he did say he was for invading Iraq. So there's I don't know if you call it flip-flop, but people have found evidence contrary to what he has been saying. Okay, well, I'll take a brief time out. I want to come back and grab a couple of phone calls. Then we'll get into this business with Trump and the Pope. I want you to hear what Bill Donahue says about this, because that'll straighten it out for you right after this. Don't go away. Salon